this is the visuals that I'm getting from inside the car. So I think I'm happy with these LEDs. So let me just start up the car and then move around and see how much visibility we get. So this is how far I can see with the LEDs. So I think this is so much greater because you can see how much further they light up compared to the stock halogen bulbs. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now this is me trying to improve the brightness on my car when driving at night. So I'm going to be installing LEDs for more brightness when I'm driving at night. But are they going to be more brighter than the stock halogen bulbs? Well, the only way to find out is the only way through. So this is me trying to attempt to remove the bumper. So I realized that what I'm doing is not safe at all. So I went on to get my safety goggles. So the bumper is held in by 6 screws, at least on my car. I'm not sure about yours. There are 2 screws which are holding the bumper with the fender. So I'm removing another screw, which is a T30, which holds the face of the bumper. The silver thing, or titanium, I don't really know what it is, but yeah. So I'm removing those 2 T30 screws from the left and the right. Then I moved on to the ones which are near the VW emblem. I removed that one. Now I was through with that, so this is me trying to wiggle off the bumper. Yeah, so this is me trying to wiggle. Now that the bumper is getting wiggled off, it's really not coming off the way I want it to. So that's why I'm struggling here. The struggle is real, so as we struggle, we wait. Finally, the struggle is coming to an end. I've been successful on taking out the other side. Now let me just check off the other side, the passenger side. Yeah, now let me just take off the passenger side and see if we can be successful with that. Okay, finally the bumper is off. Then that's it. I didn't really go into much details of how I put on the fog lights, but then now I've already installed the fog lights. So what I've done is to use the U-clips and also use the screws which are corresponding to those U-clips. So those screws are going to fit perfectly onto the U-clips. Then I just drilled a hole on the bumper just to make sure that the fog light sits still on the bumper and never moves up and down. So this is me trying to adjust the height of the fog light so it doesn't point onto the eyes of the other drivers. The method that I'm using to adjust this fog light is not quality checked. So there I go again with my not so quality check pass method of measuring the height of the fog light. Then we move on to the male and female connectors, which are going to be used to connect the power from the headlights onto the fog lights. So this is the male connector that I'm showing you right now. It has 3 pins. So this is the H7 male and female connectors. So these are the ones that I'm going to be using to take power from the headlights onto the fog lights. So yeah. This is me taking out the H-string that I purchased from my local dealer. So these are at least bigger than the ones that I used to use before, because these ones are going to be able to cover those 2 cables when they are being merged and also when they have been soldered. So right now I'm just trying to screw the cables together, and then we're gonna go to the soldering, which is also not so QC fast, but I guess if it works, right? There I am with my soldering iron trying to solder these wires together so that they do not come off at any time until Jesus comes back. So that's me going on with my objective of making sure that these cables do not come apart until Jesus comes back. Then I move on to the next cable. Then I'm going to move on to the last one. and that's it. So I'm going to do the same thing on the driver's side for the fog light. So what I'm doing right now, I'm only showing you the passenger side, but it's exactly the same thing that I'm going to do on the driver's side fog light. So this is me trying to hit the heat shrinks. I hope they shrink, but my heat shrinking method is not really that good. I guess I need to go to a heat shrinking school if there's such, but I need some heat shrinking lessons. But I think this is coming right along. I think that's the objective. Although my shrinks are not that good, but it does the job, right? Then the final product, look at it, it's so good. So this is me trying to use this thing. I don't even know what it's called, but I guess it's a cover. So I'm trying to cover all those cables so that they look neat and clean. I also like very neat things, by the way. So I try my best to make sure that everything is neat and clean and looks almost factory-like. So that's one thing about me. I like my things neat. So the next thing to do right now is to sort out the wires which are going to be coming from the headlight onto the male H7 connector. Then I remembered, for safety, please make sure that before you weld anything on the car, the battery is disconnected. Then the male H7 connector is going to be connecting to the female H7 connector, which is going to be coming from the fog light. But how did I get to this point? Well, I'm going to explain it to you later on in the video. So this is me putting on the H-strings on the cables before I connect it with the male H7 connector. So this is me trying to make sure that this fit in tight and snug. The joining of the cable, the reunion of the cables with their H7. No, this is not an H7. Is it an H4? Yes, this is an H4. I don't know why I kept calling it the H7 connector. This is an H4 connector. Yes. So this is me trying to give them a reunion, a very beautiful reunion. So these are going to hold on to each other forever because they are not coming off. So after this, I'm going to be welding them together. So this is me trying to put on the rubber so that the welds do not fall off onto the plastic and damage it maybe. Now this is the joining together of the two cables, and I hope they live together in harmony. So just to let you know which one is which one here, the yellow and green connector is the earth or the ground. Yes, the yellow and green connector is the earth or ground, and the white is the ground for the H4 connector. Then the black and red one is going to be the power for the park lights, which are going to be delivering power onto the ring light, which is on the fog light. Then the red one is going to be power for the main headlight beam. Yes, so I guess I explained it well. The yellow and green wire is for the ground for both the wires which are going to be supplying power onto the ring light and also the main headlight. Then the black and red wire is for the power for the ring light, which is going to be around the fog light, and the red wire is going to be the power for the main headlights. So this is me trying to smoothen up my welding. My welding is not good. I think I need to attend two classes, the heat shrinking class and the welding class. But the heat shrinking class seems like it's going well, even though I didn't attend. Look at the final product. Like I said before, I like to keep my things clean. So this is me trying to cover up the cable. Then we're done. Now these are the wires which are going to be that I got power from. So these are the wires which are coming from the parking light. So there's one which is spliced because I'm not going to be using ground from the parking lights. I'm going to be using ground from the main headlight, which is going to be supplying for both the ring light and the main headlight. So ground is going to be supplying ground for 2 wires. Then the other wires, which are green and black, are going to be supplying power to the ring light. So the thing that I'm showing you right now is the resistor. So the resistors are used to trick the computer of the car to think that the car is still having the stock halogen bulbs. This is so because the LED lights do not consume a lot of power. So the resistor is going to fool the car to think that the car is still using the stock halogen bulbs instead of using the LEDs. The resistor is going to be drawing 55 watts of power from the car, then delivers that 55 watts of power onto the LED. This will then eliminate the bulb warning light on the dashboard. So we're not going to be having any bulb warning lights because now we have installed these resistors, which are going to be fooling the computer of the car to think that the car is still using the stock halogen bulbs. So this is the male H4 connector, which is going to be going to the female connector. So on the top, it's going to be the negative or the ground. Then on the left, it's going to be power for the ring light. And then on the right is going to be power for the main headlight. Just to repeat for you, the one at the top is going to be the negative or the ground for both the lights. So this is the cable which goes to the fog light, which I connected the female H4 connector to. So all those cables are connected to the female connector, which then leads onto this fog light. As I explained to you earlier on in the video, this is how I got onto the headlight. Okay, so now I'm done with the wiring. So what I did was to take the parking wire, live and ground for the parking wire, then also take live and ground for the main 8 beam, and then also take live and ground. This is live and this is ground for the I beam. Then I splice them up. As you can see right here, I spliced them up, then made H7 male connector so that the H7 male connector can go to the H7 female connector, which is connected to the fog lights. So I've just finished putting in the LED. Now let me just close up. Oh, I wanted to close up before I can connect the power. Now this is me directing the movie how to put on a bumper onto your Volkswagen Jetta 5. So as you can see, I'm basically right now directing the movie. This is the cast, which is my friend who was going to be helping me act out the movie, how to put back the bumper on your Mk5. So as I've directed him, he's now part of the cast, and now I've already directed him on how to put back the bumper onto the car. So this is us trying to put back the bumper onto the car. And like that, we're done. So this is me trying to put everything back together as I took it out. So I'm going to be screwing up everything that I took apart. So this is just the reverse process of what I did when taking off the bumper. So that was the final nail on the coffin. This is the final product. So this is the ring light, which turns on together with the parking lights from the main headlight. So this is the parking light, which I don't think you can see clearly, but it is on. So it turns on together with the parking light. The ring light turns on together with the parking light. The ring light is the one which is around the fog light. So the inner bulbs on the headlight, on the fog light, turns on together with the main headlight. So this is how they're going to be looking during the day. So these are going to be used as my daytime running lights, which I think they're going to look very great. Honestly, they look good. They're not that bright to see, but I think there's no way you can say you cannot see that there's something which is on there. They're not that too bright, but there's no way you can miss them. So these are the main headlights, which turn on together with the parking lights and the fog lights. So the park light turns on together with the ring light around the fog light, and the main headlight turns on together with the light which is inside the ring light. So I think this looks great. So this is how it looks at night, which I think is pretty great as well. As you can see right now, the car is scanning for all the lights and also checking if the lights are getting enough power which they are supposed to get from the factory. So if we had not installed the resistors, this means after the car is finished checking up the lights, it's going to give us a bulb warning light to show that the bulbs are off or the bulbs have been bent. So because now we've put on the resistors, the car is not going to detect any fault at all. This is the visuals that I'm getting from inside the car, and I honestly think this is way much better than the OEM halogen bulbs, because now I can see way further than how I used to see. So I think I'm happy with these LEDs. I think I'm very happy. So let me just start up the car and then move around and see how much visibility we get from this, because honestly this is so much greater than I expected. I don't even know where to put the phone here. This is so much greater than I expected it to be. Just trying to, yeah. So this is how we look from inside, and I think this is way so much greater. Now this is how the brightness looks like. So this is bright, and these are just the main beams. This is the brightness. So I honestly think this is so much greater. These are just the park lights and the ring light around the fog light. So these are the high beams. Actually, these are the main beams. These are the high beams. So I'm honestly happy with what I got. So if you want to go ahead and buy the LEDs, I'm going to link them on the description below, so you can go ahead and buy them. So let's just then move and see how much visibility we're getting when driving. So I'm just reversing right now. This is the visibility that I'm getting, and I'm quite happy with it. I'm quite happy with the visibility that I'm getting. Okay, let's move. So this is how far I can see with the LEDs. So I think this is so much greater, because you can see how much further they light up compared to the stock halogen bulbs. So these are doing so much greater than I thought they would. This is so much great. As you can see how much we are able to see further. This is how much we're able to see further. So this is great, honestly. So much greater. Now that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one. Peace.
6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay.